so he needs the brand. But I think the brand has lived on and evolved because of the work that we've put in.
All right, before we begin the show, let's thank our sponsors. First and foremost, our title sponsor, Once Upon a Coconut. All natural, non-GMO coconut water with natural electrolytes and no added sugar. You can choose from pure blueberry, pineapple, watermelon, sparkling energy, and chocolate flavors with Once Upon a Coconut. Stay hydrated and refreshed. And if you're wondering why it tastes so darn good, it's due to a combination of factors, including the freshness and sweetness of young coconut water, the lack of additives, and the natural electrolytes present. And the best part about it, Once Upon a Coconut, 10% of profits go to charity that benefit our communities, including the Down Syndrome Foundation, Breast Cancer Foundation, Leukemia Society. Good things, good people, great product. So you can grab it at some Sprouts, you can grab it on Amazon, you can go online to find a store near you or purchase it right there off of their website, onceuponacoconut.com. It is delish. Big thanks to Inspect All Pest Services, our buddy Nick and the crew over at Inspect All Pest Services, providing the highest quality termite, pest, and wildlife control. That's not all they do. Inspect All can take care of your insulation, pressure washing, gutter maintenance, and other home services in Metro Atlanta and the surrounding areas. Remember, seasonal, you get different bugs and critters all around your house, so you want to go with the best in the business, and that would be one of our fine sponsors from day one, InspectAllServices.com. It's the Mad Dog, Manny Aurora, with the Aurora Law Firm, best darn defense attorney in the world, litigating all over the United States, based out of Georgia. We're talking criminal defense, white-collar crime, DUI, drug offenses, appeals, and more. And you can always get your legal questions answered by the Mad Dog, Manny Aurora, by getting those to me. And when he pops up on a show, you get your questions answered. So go to thebaileyshow.com and we'll get those questions to the Mad Dog. The Aurora Law Firm. He is the best in the business when it comes to therapists. There's no doubt about that. I use them, and so should you. We're talking about Dr. David Markwell with Ridgeline Counseling. He's got 10 therapists in-house, 3 different locations there in Georgia, one across from Sprayberry High School in Sandy Plains in East Cobb, Marietta near the Square in McKaysville, just outside of Blue Ridge. But if you're not in Georgia and you need to talk to the good doctor, then you can go online and get virtual sessions. RidgelineCounseling@gmail.com if you'd like to email him directly, or go online to markwelltherapy.com. There is no better time to check if your insurance is any good. That's why FBC Insurance is waiting for you to reach out. You can call them at 888-308-1841 or email them info@fbcinsuranceservices.com. I just switched up my car insurance because I got a better deal at FBC Insurance. They were the people to find it. Perfect for new homeowners, especially if you're trying to reshop those current insurance policies. 5-star service, multi-policy, bundled discounts, and they're going to shop every carrier out there to find the best insurance for your house, flood, storm season, auto, motorcycle, boat, recreational vehicle, or just a personal policy. 888-308-1841 or go online, FBCInsuranceServices.com. Another one of our great sponsors in storm season. You have to talk to the good people at Alternate Power Solutions of Georgia. Family owned and operated. They are a Generac generator dealer, founded in 2012. So storm season, power goes out. Who knows when it's coming back on? Don't be that guy or girl that does not have a backup plan and having power for whatever it be, especially medical devices, fans, air conditioning, so on and so forth. Offering sales, service, installation, and repair of automatic home standby and portable generators, every single one of you. When you become a customer at Alternate Power Solutions of Georgia, you get an upgraded warranty, free monitoring, and warranty repair. A+ rating with the BB&B, and you pay nothing until the job is complete. Call or request a free home assessment. You can go to their website, poweringgeorgia.com, or buzz them at 770-853-7571. Use the discount code Bailey, my last name, and get $500 off your entire installation. All right? Servicing Georgia and Tennessee. Again, another great sponsor of the BS podcast that is going to come to your aid here during storm season. And I'm talking about Cliff Bratcher and Jayco Contracting. This one hits home for me because I needed advice from Cliff and Jayco Contracting when my mother got a hole in her roof. Now, Jayco Contracting helping the good folks out in Georgia. And if you're in Georgia, you call him this storm season just to know that you're going to be taken care of when that tree falls through your roof or your shingles come off or a hole somehow appears. roofers, right? They're a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning, licensed and insured roofing and gutter specialists covering all of Georgia. Keep in mind, if you've not gone through this process, Cliff and Jayco Contracting are going to take care of it from start to finish. That means dealing with the insurance companies. That can be a headache and a negotiation, and they're the best to do it. Commercial and residential satisfaction guaranteed. JaycoContracting.com, or 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You give Cliff Bratcher a call at 770-316-3876. Alive Ozone Therapy Spa in Altamont Springs, Florida. This is mine and my wife's wellness spa. If you have an autoimmune, cancer, HIV, just simple biohacking, long COVID, the answer is yes to just about anything that's going on in your body. Most of the time it starts with inflammation, and ozone therapy, it decreases inflammation. So ozone therapy, we are the first and only to do it in Central Florida. That is Alive Ozone Therapy Spa. We also offer red light therapy, halo therapy, pressotherapy, PMF grounding mat, as well as naturally in-house made ozone infused products like the magnesium butter that many of you absolutely love. Ozone therapy, what is it? Quickly, it repairs and rejuvenates your cells to the mitochondrial level by using activated oxygen. Simple as that. No side effects. That's all there is to it. It's a 30-minute session, and you actually burn up to 600 calories when you're in the Hocket sauna. We do it the most non-invasive way. So whether you're in the area or you want to travel, book an appointment, AliveOzoneTherapySpa.com. All the products you can get there as well. And remember, for you two peers, use the discount code BS10 to take that off those online products. If you want to be a sponsor of the show, reach out to me via thebaileyshow.com. And if you are a listener of this podcast and you need any of our great sponsors, please reach out to them. Now, let's begin.
I think we should do a podcast about rock and roll. And that's some stories.
Yeah, let's do it. Welcome to the Vinyl Road Podcast.
All right, there it is. It's the Vinyl Road Podcast, episode, actually, it's 11. Episode 11, I believe. Am I right on that, Bradford?
I think we're 12. No?
We are at 12. Yeah, we're at 12. I don't know why I'm on that. 12.
12 in a row, man. We're getting there, dude.
We're cruising. All in the BPX. That would be the Bailey Podcast Exchange. 3 different shows, 5 days a week, one feed. Get all of your details there on jasonbailey.com. Thanks to the title sponsor of the entire BPX. That is a Once Upon a Coconut, watermelon flavored, mind you. OnceUponACoconut.com. Use the discount code BSPodcast10 at checkout to save some Gaituses. My name is Jason Bailey. Thanks for being here. And there he is, the man himself, Mr. Brad Stewart. Hello, Brad.
Thank you. No applause necessary.
Crowd goes wild for Brad. The crowd goes wild. Getting ready for the tour, buddy? Getting ready?
Getting geared up, man. I've been reaching out to Warnstar yesterday. Going to try to get some custom stuff done before we leave. Hopefully I didn't wait too long, but I just don't want to wear the same shit, man. So I'm just trying to find some good stuff. And they're actually having a sale if you're into that sort of thing, rock and roll clothing. A lot of their stuff is, they have some stuff that's really just one of a kind custom stuff. And then, Sylvia and Stefan, they're awesome people. If you want to add even more custom type elements to it, they'd be willing to do so. They're a lot of times I'll be like, hey, I like this, but can it not have this part? You know what I mean? Like,
you're talking about your getup on stage, your outfit.
Yeah, man. I mean, for me, if I'm a fan, dude, and I'm going to see a band, if they're up there in t-shirts and jeans, I guess that's cool, but I'm expecting a bit more. I paid the money, if it's a club play, probably not going to see any pyro. Hopefully the production, at least, there's at least a good light show, but also the band members themselves, I'm expecting their instruments to sound good and for the sound to be great, but also visually, I think that, there's another element to your look on stage that goes beyond just, mall clothes.
Yeah.
I think you need to have some custom shit. You don't have to dress up like Kiss, but, go a little bit the extra mile,
Yeah, have a gimmick, almost. You look at, but gimmicks are organic for the most part. Now, do you enjoy wearing these clothes? Like, do you enjoy dressing up in rock star clothes?
I don't know if I enjoy it, but it definitely feels like when I put those clothes on and it's a mindset thing. Things sort of change. Now I'm in rock mode. Now I'm in my my look has now changed, out of, my Ruka
Yeah.
sweat or athletic wear. Now it's on, and the countdown really starts ticking before set time. So your mind just gets into this this state of mind before, and I don't know, man. For me, it's all part of getting ready for the show. But I feel a certain energy. Yes, absolutely. When I put on the
That's
get
called OCD, my friend.
up, is it?
And were you an athlete when you were younger, right?
I did more like skateboarding, surfing, things like that. I wasn't like a team sort of guy. I was more like an individual type person. Yeah.
So I'm wondering because that's very interesting, and I understand it. I agree with it. As a former athlete, football player, whether it's tennis or football or poker or whatever the case. Like when I would do radio shows, I would have to wear a hoodie. I mean, it didn't matter what state I was in or how hot it was outside. I had to wear a hoodie. When I play poker, I have to wear a hoodie. It's for some reason, it's like when you play football, you put a football helmet on,
Yeah.
You're ready to play the game. There's something that makes you untouchable. So I understand what you're saying, but you also have to be comfortable in your skin when you go up there. That's why I asked, like, when you put that get up on, is it like, oh my God, these are so tight. I don't know if I need to do this every time.
It's inspiration for, getting a little thinner maybe. No, I mean, some of the clothes are a little, it can be constricting, but once you get them on, it kind of feels like battle armor. You're going into to the fight, like a gladiator or something. It's time, and I like it. I mean, some of the stuff over the years has gotten a little tighter, but I'm doing the best I can to and I have Sylvia when she's making this shit, and I'm like, do you need new measurements? They moved from Chicago, Warren Star to Goodyear, Arizona. So the last tour, she kind of measured me up, and I was still pretty close. And then she brought out the vest that she had made for me with the blue star on it, and it fit like it fit like it was made for me. It fit like a glove. It was awesome. So
yeah, I don't know if that's the best city to move to for a company that's designing clothes for aging rock stars who have no choice. It's just human nature to put on a few pounds, and the city's called Goodyear, like Goodyear blimp.
Right. It's right outside of Phoenix, like 20 minutes. But yeah, they were in the Chicago area for a long time. I don't know why they moved, honestly, but I don't know if they seem to be finding their niche out there. I don't know,
I could probably come up with about 5 different reasons why you'd move out of Chicago, but
well, they weren't in the shit in Chicago. They were like Lake in the Hills type shit. It was out, so.
Well, you look at, certain gimmicks, and there are gimmicks. I don't know. Don't think of gimmick as a bad word. People for some reason think gimmicks are bad. There's a lawyer here in Orlando. I mean, like lawyer advertising in Central Florida is crazy, but there's a lawyer. He's been around for a while, and he's got a lot of marketing money in the city, and he's got these billboards, and he's like, no gimmicks, just results. And I just wanted to call him, and I'm like, I don't know the guy, but I wanted to call him like, that's a gimmick, right?
That's the gimmick. Is that, yeah. You're okay. Yeah.
That's the gimmick. No gimmicks.
There's no gimmick. Yeah.
It's a gimmick. But you look at different guys on stage, different rock stars, and whether it's on purpose, eventually it becomes on purpose, but usually those things start organically, Slash's hat, Axl's kilt. If you want to go bassist, my buddy Will Turpin in Collective Soul always wears red shoes, always does the jump off the riser, so there's like different little things that you expect, Wes Borland, Limp Bizkit, the mask, the get up. I mean, you're expecting now Fred of Biscuit comes out dressed like a freaking cowboy sometimes. I mean, it's like nuts. But then you look at Dave Grohl, guys like Dave Grohl, dude just comes out in a plaid red. You think Dave Grohl, you think plaid red and black shirt, right? Looks like a lumberjack. But that's his gimmick. His gimmick is no gimmick. Adam Sandler doesn't dress up. That's his gimmick. No gimmick. You know what I mean?
So,
That's
Right.
your
I mean,
gimmick.
and hats off to those guys, and that's their shtick. I guess I'm doing
Yeah,
my own
that's your
thing,
gimmick.
So and I guess my gimmick is whatever, whatever
Black.
clothing endorsements I'm getting. I always wear Chuck Taylors. I always, there's certain things I do, and now I'm playing Fender basses, but I'm actually back in an artist deal with Ernie Ball. So there's some strings endorsements. Yeah, it's in what you actually physically, not just what you're wearing, but the instrument you play on stage could be your shtick too. I mean, you're part of your gimmick. So, and I've always, besides when I first started playing Spectres, I typically would gravitate towards more classic looking and sounding basses.
Mhm.
Than some of these newer type modern type shit. So, but that doesn't mean I can't I can't hang as far as the tone goes because I feel like the tone's still there. It's just a different animal.
Do you think, do you have, or not think, but do you have any fans that come up to you and talk to you about the clothes or the instrument or the strings or the shoes, or, go like, dude, I've seen every Saliva show, man. And dude, I'm always like wanting to see what color Chuck Taylors you're going to be wearing or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And they do. And the fact that they're paying attention and give a shit, it's cool, and they're like, man, what happened with the Ernie Ball thing? Now you're playing Fenders, and I sort of explained that, I just it
Uh,
ran its course and shit like that. And then, but now I kind of rekindled it through actually Josh, our guitar player, stage right guitarist, had started a relationship with him and kind of helped me slide back in there. So things can change over time, but yeah, a lot of times they're like, man, where do you get where'd you get that vest and how much do they charge you? And like, yeah, la da da da, and it's cool though that they actually care, and they're paying attention.
as you can see, as a podcaster, radio personality, my gimmick is a sleeveless shirt, because that's, and gym shorts, by the way, if you're wondering what's from the waist down, gym shorts and on clouds on my feet. That's my gimmick on a daily basis. I work in my studio, I go to my spa, and that's about it. That's my
Dude,
life.
those on clouds, like they started hurting my feet. I
What?
tried them. Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
now I think they're Brooks or something, but the on clouds, I think I kind of fucked with my back and shit too. Something about them, man, it just didn't jive with me, but I know everyone loves them. And
Oh my God.
my wife works in a hospital and she wears them. So,
Little on cloud trick of the trade, because they are not cheap sneakers.
Oh,
If you are looking for them at a discount, there are places online now that you can buy them because they've been in the marketplace for so long. But if you're looking, for the tangible touch and feel on cloud discount store, Nordstrom Rack, and you will usually find ones that you won't see anywhere else for whatever reason. And they're not knockoffs. They're not like in clouds or off clouds. They're actually on clouds. They're just ones that you just don't normally see. And you got to find out what day they get shipments. And then it's just luck of the draw. And you show up, they're like $50 off usually. So you can get you get 3 of them for the price of 2, which is, saving Gitas, saving money. So.
Gitas, man. Where'd that come from? Did we talk about this? What is a
No.
Gitas? That's a form of payment, cash?
Yeah, Gitas means money. I think I learned it when I was going to Wingate College back in the early 90s in North Carolina.
Okay.
The good old boys there were calling, it was ducats and Gitases, we're busting spades in the room with the boys. And they're like, dude, you owe me 20 Gitases, so just always, I say it on the show and I get comments from people all the time, like listeners, whether, I don't really use it on this show other than the beginning, talking about Once Upon a Coconut and saving Gitases, but like listen to, for the BS, the Bailey Show podcast, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, I say Gitases all the time and it drives people nuts, just because they're not familiar with it. That, and I don't do it to irritate you. Now, I do say prizes to irritate people, and I've said that my entire career. I don't call presents presents. I call presents prizes because they are surprises, and the root of surprise is prize. So you're surprised. And it drives people insane, dude. It just drives it. I love it. That's why I do it.
It doesn't bother me at all, but I was just like, I've heard of ducats before, but the Gitases thing, and obviously it's just like maybe like a regional thing, but yeah, I definitely I've heard of ducats, yeah, but Prizes, huh? Prizes. Okay. We can do that. That don't bother me either. It takes a lot to get me upset. But once it happens, it's fucking bad. You know what I mean?
Lingo from the South. Lingo from the South. The redneck lingo.
That's it.
All right. So, a question before we move on with some other stuff. A lot of people are kind of wanting us to talk about one thing in particular, which we will get to here momentarily. But as a fan of rock and roll and music just in general, so this is kind of, hopefully I'm coming from the fans' perspective listening as you guys in Saliva are getting ready to embark on this nationwide tour with Earshot, the founder, which is led by the former lead singer, the original lead singer of Hinder, and then a new band, Lilac. And of course, you can go to Saliva's website and check out when they're coming to your town. And if they're not coming to your town, then you want to raise all kinds of hell and get hold of your radio station or your local venues and say, why are you not bringing the Saliva tour to our town? I want them in our town. And then you create a ruckus in an army. And once you create a ruckus in an army, shit happens. So I'm just saying, I'm one of those rebellious Gen Xers. Anyway, before you go out on the road, now, Brad, you are a husband, you are a father, you've got a household, and you're getting ready to be out on the road. What things could you leave at home that you really don't need to take, but you have to take?
Yeah, for a tour like this, man, I pack pretty heavy. There is some things already on the bus, some clothes and some things that are already out there. But yeah, I'm packing heavy, dude, because I mean, we're gonna be in Montana again. We're gonna be in places where, in good old Florida, it's warm until October, November, even into December or whatever. But you hit Montana in September, October. I don't think so. I mean, so I have to think about that too. And then, so yeah, I'm packing heavy. I'm bringing supplements, vitamins. I'm going to bring a camera and a mic and an interface for the show. I'm having to think of all kinds of things to bring. I got to get my house ready. I got to get the pool ready. I got to get the yard ripping. I round up the beds. I pick the fucking weeds. I got to do a lot of shit. I mean, a lot of times I can fly in and out and, come home during a tour and kind of handle business. But on this one, man, it would be tough. And if I was able to, it would be just for like the day and then fly the fuck back out the next morning or something. But, so it is tough. Just getting and just thinking about your pack too, because you gotta have enough where you don't want to have to be doing laundry every third day either, So there's a lot of factors. I've been doing it long enough to where I got it pretty dialed. But yeah, it's definitely, you just got to have the forethought, to like, what am I going to need? Like I have like an immersion, like one of those stick blenders out there,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm already prepping for like, I don't want to rely on food on the road necessarily that I'm getting from the venue. Like I want to get proper fruits and like oats and things, be able to make smoothies in the morning and not just have to be a slave to what the fast food or whatever what's around us. So I think about a lot of shit. My bike's out there. Hopefully it's still okay. It's under the bus. So hopefully it's not been beat to shit under the bus and I can get on it and go, when I get out there. And a lot of times when you get out there, if you're missing stuff, you can just go get it. I mean, there's Targets and, Walmarts or whatever around that if needs be. But plus I got to dye my hair while I'm out there and shit and kids stay looking right, So yeah, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. And then, I typically try to hit a gym. So I got to bring workout clothes and it's a lot.
And all of you are on the bus for this tour for the most part.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have
five band, 4 crew, I think.
All on one bus.
Oh yeah.
Wow. And
well, there's 12 bunks, but in our bus, the back 4 are condoed out to where the back 4, it's in per rack, I guess you'd say it's 2, and then 2 and then the front 2 on either side, it's 3 and 3. So yeah, that's, it's a lot of people, and some dude will roll 12 people. There's no junk bunks. There's nowhere to put your shit. You got to put it underneath the bus in the bays, but a lot of times the bays are stocked with merch, and
wow.
So you got to know how to pack properly, man. I mean, it is a thing, where space and personal space, especially. That's why I have the bike, is to where I get there and I can have my own space and do it the fuck out, and just for my head, just for my own head, just to get out of there and kind of have some room, and if I want to talk on the phone, there's not 9 people listening. You know, it's tight in there, man. You know,
that's kind of like the bottom of the Titanic on wheels. It's a lot of people, and your drummer's female, so
Yeah.
she's got to hang with the boys. Is she the only female on the bus?
For this run, I do believe so. I mean, in times past, we've had like the merch person was a female, or Bobby's aunt was our tour manager for a minute there. Amanda
One
and
bathroom.
so
One bathroom.
one bath. Well, at the we had the blue bus actually had a bathroom in the back. So when Wayne was still alive, he kind of took over the back, and we called it Wayne's World, you know. And Wayne's World was in the back, just like on the show, and he'd just hang out back there, and he'd even bring food and coolers and his own AC unit sometimes and shit. Like we'd go to Walmart, and he's like, "Yeah, I just need a few things." He'd be dragging like 2 carts full of shit back to the fucking bus. We're like, "Where are you gonna put all this shit, man?" He's got fucking cases of grape Gatorade and shit, and anyway, he was hysterical, man. So that was also kind of tough when things went down with him, because since we were so used to having him have his own space, when we went to check on him, like he was in bad shape and no one knew it, you know. So that was tough. But I mean,
yeah.
So anyway, so it's tight in there, man, and you know, you just have to really be I mean, it's not for everyone. I mean, dude, of course, it'd be great if we each had our own buses and we could all, you know, like when the big bands go on tour, there's 1 or 2 of them in a bus or whatever. They're flying in jets. But I mean, on a club run, or this is not in the budget, man. You know, so you gotta one bus, one trailer. Sometimes you could share like a tractor trailer, but the only problem with that is if bands are doing shows outside of the tour, they need their gears. But if it's packed in a trailer that's heading to this next city that you're going to, logistically, that makes no sense. So, you know, there's a lot that goes into it.
Who's got the most annoying habit on the bus that you just like? I'm a dipper, right? So that would probably drive somebody insane. I mean, I'm a clean dipper. I don't leave my dip cups out. Nobody's going to drink out of it on accident. But I do know that there's people out there that do that. Smokers, obviously, can't smoke on the bus anymore, but still you're going to smell like smoke. Somebody's got body odor. Somebody wears a lot of cologne or perfume. You know, those are little oohs. You know, does anybody have any of those things that drive you nuts?
Yes. Well, actually, our sound man, Phil Pagano, which we love Phil to pieces, man, but he smokes, and he's the only person that smokes. A couple people vape, and they vape the weed pens and the whole shit, but that's not offensive. That you can't even smell it half the time, you know. But the Camel lights, dude, or no, yeah, I think they're Camel ones. There's Camel somethings, man. But he comes in and we're like, dude, did you blow it on yourself? Like the smoke, and it's his fingers and shit. I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Like he don't give a fuck. He's from New York. He's from Brooklyn. He don't give one fuck, dude. He's out there chiefing down. I'm like, man, that's gonna kill you, dude. Like, the other shit we do out here is bad enough, but fuck, man, like,
So
really? I mean, who smokes anymore? Do people still fucking smoke? It's so weird, dude. I don't know.
Actually, it's making a comeback.
Oh god,
it's weird. You know, that vape run and the e-cigarette run. You know, I think that looks ridiculous. It looks like they're sucking on beepers. It just looks silly. Like I've never thought the smoking looks stupid. You know, again, I grew up in a generation where, you know, it was all over, like the cool guys, Telly Savalas and all those people. It was ingrained, you know, the old Westerns rolling their cigarettes. If you're cool, James Dean, I mean, not that I was around James Dean, but you know what I'm saying? It's that cool look kind of thing. And then the Truth campaign crushed cigarettes. Good for them. They did a great job of doing that. And then movies and television shows just got rid of smoking just in general. And smoking a cigarette was kind of character building. I'll give you an example, because you and I have a love for movies, especially unique situations in movies. Mm-hmm. Usually when a character is smoking a cigarette, it fits the character. There is one movie probably that stands out amongst all other movies. The character lights up a cigarette and it makes no sense. And I've always wanted to know why. And that is, in my opinion, the best comedy of all time, Fletch, when Chevy Chase walks into the house in Idaho or whatever, and there's nobody home. And for some reason, he just lights up a cigarette. He hasn't smoked at any time in the movie. And we're already like halfway plus through the movie. And he walks into a house where he's breaking into it and he lights up a cigarette. It just doesn't make any sense. And he takes like 1 or 2 puffs and he's done.
Is this when he's the mattress police? He's going to pull rank on you?
Yeah,
there are no tags on these mattresses. Is that the part?
Yeah,
I know the movie. Yeah. I don't remember that though. I don't remember him smoking. And okay, I have to look back at that. I know.
Just that scene. It was just that scene when he walks into the house, he lights up a cigarette. You know, they have the Fletch music. I'm like, why? You know, he hasn't smoked the whole movie and he's breaking into a house. The last thing you want to do, you don't even know if anybody's there right now. Why would you smoke in somebody's house? You're breaking into it. Just, you know,
and some people just don't look right smoking anyway. They don't look right, whether they're actors and they practiced it. They don't look right smoking. And some people, you're like, yeah, they smoke, and it's completely natural looking, and they're not trying to be cool. It's just happening, you know, whatever.
But more and more shows now, you know, I'm so enthralled. We talked about this on the BS this week. This show came out in like 2016. It was on TNT. And I remember them doing a bunch of radio endorsements. And the guy that did them on my show at the time, he must have done a horrible job because he did not make this show sound good. I had no idea what it was about. It's now on Netflix. It's called Animal Kingdom. And it is awesome. Like, it's 8 seasons. We were looking for a new show, me and my wife. We are so addicted to this show. It is so good. And there's smoking and drugs and it's, I don't know. I think the anti-smoking campaign flopped. I think we're going back to it. I see more people. You want to know where smoking is big? California. So many people in California. When I lived out there for that year, smoking in their cars, smoking. They're always smoking. They come out of the gym, lighting up cigarettes, smoking. Everybody
really?
In California, everybody smokes.
No shit.
No shit.
See, I would never think that because they're all about, like, you know, everything being super organic and farm to table and all this business. And, you know, it's funny. When I went to Italy, I noticed that the Italians smoke a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And they throw the butts under the train because we were training it between, like, you know, Rome and Florence and Venice and shit. And you look under where the train is, and it's nothing but cigarette butts, man. And I'm like, you guys have the most delicious, pure vegetables and food, and, you know, everything is homemade. I mean, there's no Monsanto, there's no bullshit. But you're smoking cigarettes? That makes absolutely no fucking sense. Great wine. I don't know, man.
Now, there's certain rock stars that are just cool when they smoke. And I'd put Slash up there. Like when he puts that cigarette in the strings up at the top of the neck of the guitar.
Joe Perry too did that shit. That was pretty bad. Yeah, he bad. Yeah, he bad. Yeah. Like I said, Jimmy Page. I mean, that was just like part of you talk about a shtick. That was part of it. You know. Yeah. And with Slash too, that Jack Daniels bottle, even though Jack Daniels is fucking horrendous, terrible whiskey, he would chug it and he had the cigarette. I mean, it made fucking complete sense. Totally.
Kurt Cobain during the MTV Unplugged show, where he's just so nonchalant, not knowing that would become such a historic performance. Like, that album is one of my all-time favorite albums. I mean, covering Bowie's Man That Sold the House and like just so good.
Sold the world.
Sold the world.
Sold the fucking world. Love it, dude. keep it going.
That's you, the real estate agent. Man That Sold the House.
It's been tough lately, man.
but when he's sitting there and you watch like the unedited version of that performance where he's just sitting there chilling, talking to the audience, and he's smoking. Kurt Cobain was a cool cigarette smoker. Yeah. He was just cool. Like, a lot of people are uncomfortable when they smoke cigarettes because like, I don't want to stink. I don't want to smell. I'm just, it's like, let me hurry up and do this. I'm afraid what people think. The cool cigarette smokers don't give a shit what other people think.
Right. They don't care. Yeah. I had my days way back when I would smoke and I actually went to a hypnotist. I actually had some court-ordered counseling sessions, but part of that, the lady was a fucking licensed hypnotist, and I was like, "Hey, can you fix at least part of one of my addictions?" And I was like, "I can't smoke and drink anymore. I got to do one or the other." And she she hypnotized me. I wonder if she's still alive, man. She was awesome. But she at least twice, and I recorded it, and she's like, just listen to this and put yourself in that state of mind and listen to it and try to, and I swear, that happened in like December or whatever. And by that New Year's, of that same year, maybe a month later, whatever it was, I had a cigarette and I said, you know what? This is going to be the last time I ever smoke ever in my life. It's going to be my New Year's resolution, but also from here on. And I never smoked again. Not one more cigarette.
At what age was your first cigarette?
Oh God. 8th grade, maybe 7th grade. Yeah. So I went to a Catholic school, but one of the kids' dads was in the military and would get cartons of cigarettes. Right. So I want to say, oh God, they were terrible cigarettes. So it was like, not Pall Mall, but something like that shit, dude. They were brutal. And my mom caught me smoking. I was like in the garage and I'm like, oh shit, like, what are you doing home? And like, I had a cigarette and I was outside, trying to hide it and shit. And she fucking busted me, dude. And I was young. I shouldn't have been smoking. That was dumb.
Oh yeah. That was the age I started smoking and drinking, 6th to 7th grade. Yeah. And I can tell you, I remember where I was at. Like I can feel where I was at. I lived in Naples, Florida at the time. My best friend, who was a horrible influence on me, and he had stolen a soft pack of Marlboro Light 100s.
Oh man.
And he was like, you want a cigarette? And I'm like, no. And my brother smoked. And I was like, I was so anti again, kid, it's bad. And he's like, come on, man, just do it. So it quickly elevated from cigarettes to weed. I mean, I was such a bad kid at that age. And then I eventually went to a Catholic high school, which doesn't make things better. It's just a collection of rejects that have been kicked out of public school for the most part. That's supposed
or
to
a bunch of rich kids and they can actually afford the drugs and the shit. I mean, and the cigarettes and the batches. So it ain't any better. I mean, really,
All right. So the tour comes up for Saliva. Like I said, make sure you go, that's important. If it's not coming to your city, don't get pissed off at the band. They got nothing to do with it. So just reach out to your local radio station, go on social media, cause a ruckus, tag local venues, and tell them to bring the Saliva tour to your town. If you're a fan, that is. I mean, if you're not a fan, then don't do shit. But if you're a fan, that's what you'll do. So we wanted to have Bobby on, and maybe next week we will, but things didn't work out. But the fans of Saliva want the recent Josie Scott news addressed. And so Josie, the original lead singer of the band Saliva, I guess you're going to have to explain to me, briefly how this went down. Because again, and I'm coming this from a fan standpoint, I thought he left the band on his own and he was like, sayonara, I just want out to go do my own thing, rehab, find God, change his life, and bless his heart, good for him. I just thought he left because he was done with the brand. Am I wrong?
Oh, you're correct. He left on his own recognizance. So, I mean, and in doing so, that decision is now, I guess, haunting him to a certain degree because when you do something like that, I mean, I don't know what his intentions were as far as the lives of the other band members that were still counting on the band for their livelihood. I mean, hopefully they weren't malicious to try to sort of end their careers too, or at least their because you have to imagine after 6 albums with Island Def Jam and all the touring and all the records and everything you do as a band together, it's an enterprise. It's a money making machine, and people count on the machine for their livelihood. I mean, when something like that ends, what are you going to do? Go become a stockbroker in New York City? I mean, it's you're a musician. That's what you do, and that's what you're used to doing. You get paid for it, and hopefully, and it's just your passion, and it's how you make your living. So when someone walks away, that is and in most cases, of course, the singer is the face and the voice of the band. So, and also a creative force. Josie was a hell of a songwriter, and they, of course, the band had hits. They were banking on him to make great songs and great recordings of those songs. So when someone walks away, I mean, it could have ended right then. I mean, the whole thing could have just went, but contractually, it wasn't set up that way for it to where any one member had the control, like the controlling share of the band or the corporation, right? Like every member, it was kind of split up. So when that happened, the other members um, had the right to continue on and to replace him, and that's exactly what happened. And by him leaving, he forfeited, or any leaving member, if you got fired or if you quit, um, you forfeit rights to be able to use the name Saliva.
Mhm.
So moving forward, I think he was going to embark on a solo Christian career. I mean, maybe at the time he found God, maybe at the time he thought that the band was to blame for all of his problems, and those are all reasonable feelings to have. You've been through a lot. To 6 records worth of shit in a rock band that's a lot, man. In 10 years, 12 years, whatever it was, from the time where they were actually a signed band. I mean, every 6 seconds came out in 2001. So I mean, yeah. So when you leave something like that, I mean, that's a decision. It's a big decision, and unfortunately, you know, to try to sort of come back and take it over, regardless of the situation, it just it's not you just can't just walk back in and take the name and expect it to own it again. You just can't. And the last surviving member of that version of the band was Wayne, and Wayne started a corporation with Bobby. That was like 7 years ago or whatever. And part of that corporation, there was a death clause. Surviving member of this corporation carries the name. Wayne passed in 2003, as we know, 2023, as we know. So, um, which and Wayne's intention was, I want y'all to carry the name on. This has become my legacy. I'm the last OG, and I don't want you guys to stop. He told us that shit, man. He told us that all the time. He would tell us that. He's like, whatever you do, if anything happens to me, don't stop.
That would have been cool though if Josie, when he embarked on his Christian tour, and I'm not making fun at all. I think that's great. But if you were to take the Saliva gimmick and change it to more Christian stuff, so instead of like click click boom, he would change it to like kneel kneel pray, and ladies and gentlemen, it would be like apostles and followers or something. You know what I mean? That would have been cool. Like to take
That'd have been something. I don't know. I don't know if it'd have been cool.
Instead of Saliva, the band's called like Holy Water or something like that. Just everything would have the same blueprint of Saliva. I know people think I'm making fun. I'm really not. I'm all about the gimmick, man. I think the gimmick.
It could have worked. Who knows? Stranger shits happen. I mean, whatever.
Kneel, pray. That's badass, dude. Yeah, right. Hard rock for some Christian fans. Christian music's awesome. Jars of Clay. I believe Evanescence kind of got wrapped up in that at one time as well.
Yeah, 12 Stones, Evanescence. Yeah, there's bunch. Yeah.
So band, when the band originally was formed, it was Josie, it was Wayne, it was who else?
Dave Novotny, Chris DeBaldo, and Paul Crosby.
Okay, so
that was the original Saliva lineup.
So go backwards, and I'll get to what Josie said, if you don't know and why we're talking about this. But I think the setup is important. So what happened to the other OG members of Saliva prior to Wayne's passing and Josie leaving the band on his own?
Well, actually, Chris left the band, after the second record, I think. I mean, he had some problems and legally that I don't really need to mention that he needed to attend to, and I think it was a mutual thing for him to leave. But then insert John Montoya. He came into the band, and he was in a band called Full Devil Jacket.
Right.
And so they rolled like that until 2011, I think. And then Josie left, 2011, 2012. And so then, they found and recruited Bobby Amaru to become the singer. And so they rolled like that: Dave, Paul, Wayne, Bobby, and John Montoya was on some tours. He's kind of in and out. And then they let go of Dave. That had to have been 2014 or early 2015. And Bobby was like, man, we'd like for you to come play bass. And so I was still in Fuel at the time. Some things happened in my personal life, and I ended up leaving the band Fuel, and I joined Saliva. So now it's me, Wayne, Paul, and Bobby, and John Montoya on a couple tours. And then,
John,
and old John, yeah, Beetlejuice, man.
Hello, my name is John Montoya. Prepare to die.
You killed my father.
Killed my father.
Yeah. So then he was gone. So then we rolled as a 4-piece for a bit, and then Paul left, and then we had a girl drummer named Tasha Jones come in, and then I actually had to leave for 6 months, and Damon Starkey came in, and then I came back, and then Tasha left, and then we brought Paul back, and then we rolled. So it's been a lot, man. So and then ultimately Paul left again. We brought in Sammy, so then it was me, Sammy, and Wayne and Bobby, of course, and then Wayne passed. So Wayne was the last one. Was the last one.
But there's other OG members of Saliva that are living.
Absolutely.
That are just not in the band. Have they ever shown any interest of coming back to the band?
I don't really talk to them, man, but I've heard over the years, yes. And there was plans where we were trying to do where it would make sense to have Josie and maybe Chris do select shows, and try. We did try to make it work, and then something happened with Wayne when he was talking with them, and I think they were trying to get the passwords to all the Saliva websites. And that's when Wayne knew that the reunion, had they got those, Saliva passwords, they may have just sort of ushered him out and just taken the band back over, because then they had the keys to the kingdom. So Wayne was a smart dude. He was, he was crazy as hell, but he was smart. And he was like, about that reunion thing, I've been doing it with Bobby now for 10, 12 years. And we basically have resurrected the band. I mean, and where's that going to leave him if I leave him to come do this with you guys, only to get possibly screwed over and left behind too? So he didn't let it happen, man. We kept it going the way we have been. And truth be told, man, by us still being out there playing those songs, and it's still that keeps the band relevant, and it also brings royalties into the said people who had control, some interest in the song, songwriting and otherwise, whether it's record.
Josie gets paid off of your guys' tour.
Not directly, unless we're playing in front of, I think, over 10,000 people, which we've played festivals, and sometimes there's 50-some thousand people. So the way ASCAP or BMI, these performing rights organizations, collect, they will collect royalties for live performances, but it has to be a certain level of performance. Otherwise, there's licenses in place for, of course, at radio when the song's spun, and also if it's at a baseball game or, whatever it is, there's licenses in place. Some bars have to pay ASCAP or BMI just like a blanket license to play, these bands' catalogs or whatever inside their bar. It's kind of like if you're watching a football game and it's pay-per-view, the bar has to, so it's kind of like that. But by us still being out there and fans and new fans seeing, they may go buy the song, they may go buy the record, they might. So, I mean, it definitely helps the people that are the OGs that may have written those songs, because
Saliva's like Amway. I mean, if I'm Josie Scott, I was the first to start selling my Amway products, get in on this Tupperware, and then okay, I've got enough people under me. There's no need for me to sell my Amway anymore. But Bobby, Brad, guys, girls, go do your thing. Try to get the biggest shows possible.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because it's mailbox money. You walk out there, there's a check waiting for you. I mean, so in some ways, yes, but I mean, they're not going to see it that way. And they're going to say, well, you stole the name. And it's like, well, no, you forfeited the name when you left, period. Right. Whether you named the band, I kind of co-named Shinedown, right? Am I getting some sort of kickback from that? No, I signed that whenever we signed contracts back then. Brent, at least at the time, had the controlling interest in the band and the corporation and on the contract and everything. So I mean, but you either sign it or you're not in the band. So you know what I mean? It's not one of those things where you agreed to those terms, period.
Yeah.
So I mean, whether for better or worse,
Well, it's funny because if there's anybody that can relate to Josie and his stance is you. There's a lot of similarities and just human nature frustrations of, we've told the story. You've told the story of the naming of the band Shinedown happened at your house because of a painting that you had in your house. And then after saying shining down, Brent went to the bathroom, came back and said, how about just Shinedown? So like, that's you. Shinedown would not have even come up if it weren't for you. So the frustration, and you were there for the, first and the second and into the third and the launch of superstardom from the band. The frustration's there as a human being. I understand like where Josie's at and I can understand why he would even say these things. Is it fair? No, but is it kind of dick? Yeah. But like, I guess I can understand. So anyway, the reason why we're talking about this is that Josie has come out and kind of taken some shots and shades you guys, calling you guys the Temu version of the band Saliva, which is a really shitty thing to do, even though a lot of people like Temu, I must say. So in a recent interview with Youngstown Studio, Josie made it clear that he had no intention. I don't know what Youngstown Studio is, but has no intention of rejoining the band that he co-founded. He specifically points to tensions with Bobby being the reason. He says, me and Bobby have just butted heads. And he's talked crap about me in the press and just done all these sort of, I don't want to talk ill of. My mother used to say, if you don't have anything nice to say about somebody, just don't say anything at all. But it's just, I don't know. I don't want to give the fans the Temu version of Saliva and some kind of bastardized version that Bobby puts together, which would include you. So I guess Josie was referring to, an interview that Bobby did with this Youngstown Studio in 2024, where Bobby, I guess, alluded to coming into Saliva when the other person quits and basically abandons and leaves everyone high and dry, and they just disappear for a decade and stuff. Actually, Bobby said that on this show too, or on the BS. Scott is hoping for a Hail Mary in order to get the band name back, but he's made his thoughts about Bobby very clear in the meantime. He's not Saliva, said Josie Scott. He's never been Saliva. He definitely went out there and did his thing and filled in the space, which is kind of a backhanded compliment at the end. So after Josie says that about Bobby and you guys in the current version of Saliva, when you saw that, what did you think?
I was like, this again? Like, I thought we kind of dealt with this. I'm pretty sure the copyright, the trademark office already settled this, and he lost that part of it. He lost the name's not, it's a 10-year license for the trademark, and he had his attorney and his legal team, and so did Bobby, and that's between them for the name and for the brand. I mean, for him to sort of backhand what we've done. I mean, we've put out quality music under the Saliva name. We go out there and kick its ass, and I think we make the band or the brand. We hope. Well, I mean, we're proud of what we do out there. I mean, for the brand's sake, and and for someone to think that, oh, you're just going to hand the name back over. Remember what I said about the enterprise thing. This is a business, and that's a business he no longer owns. I mean, he can go out there and play it. My buddy Michael Stewart put it to me, and it was really great. If it's like if you started a pizza business, Saliva Pizza Company, and you have all these members, and even if Josie's the one that has the recipe, man, like that's the money recipe. That's the fucking delicious pizza. That's it. And then 11, 12 years later, he wants to start a Christian pizza company, and he leaves the pizza company, and then but the people that are still in it, Paul, Wayne, Dave, Paul, Wayne, Dave, and Chris was already gone. So, they continue to make Saliva pizzas, and they still put out quality pizzas, right? And then, those guys along the way get left behind. New people get hired to run the business, and then 10 years later, the OG of Saliva Pizzas wants to come back in and take back over the pizza company.
Mm.
You're not in the company anymore. Now you can go make pizzas down the street as whatever, Scott's Pizzas, but you can't put the Saliva Pizza name on your new business, on your business, or you can't take it back. It's just not yours. You left the ownership part when you left.
Yeah.
And that's it, man. I mean,
I know what your buddy was trying to say. I think he could have probably made that story a little bit tighter with like, you own pizza place, guy leaves pizza place. It's no longer his.
Period. The end. Right.
Bottom line.
I guess I was just, I mean, but it's one of those things where, I mean, and even legally coming back, trying to take back the pizza company. It's not your pizza anymore,
But when you read and hear Josie Scott do an interview and call you guys in the current version of Saliva, the Temu version, outside of the shots he takes at Bobby, and you get out there and you bust your ass every night to represent the Saliva brand. Personally, how does that make you feel? Like when you read that, were you just like, what the fuck, dude?
Doesn't bother me at all, one bit. I mean, and I'll tell you why, because it's basically it's like a desperate way to draw attention to a situation he hasn't had control over for a long time. So I think it's just no one's showing up to his shows as Josie Scott. So he needs the brand, but I think the brand has lived on and evolved because of the work that we've put in. So I mean, the things he's going to say, he doesn't act like he even knows me in that article. So I mean, I don't. I mean, what do you do with something like that? He knows who I am. He knows what I've done and what I've been a part of, and my influence and the people I know in this business and otherwise. So, I mean, him trying to trash what we've done again, he should be thanking us for keeping the thing that he tried to kill and ultimately sabotage and end so long ago, and then and to make us, like, he's playing the victim, so he's making us look like the bad guy for carrying on something that he ultimately
built,
tried to end. I mean, like, so I don't feel bad about, look, man, I get paid to play shows, bro. I've been doing this for a long fucking time. You know what I mean? I'm not in the LLC on this. I'm so, but I've been around it, and I've known these guys, and I've known this band for 22 to 23 years, whatever. And I've been in this version of the band for 10 years. So I know the stories. I know how things from other, previous members, what went on. I mean, trust me, there's some weird shit that went on that I don't think I need to go there for and with, but I mean, so to answer your question, I mean, I just saw it as like, I mean, this has already been dealt with. I mean, I don't know why now it's you're gonna go to the press,
because you guys are going out on tour.
Hey, I will take the free press any day, and don't think there's not going to be some Temu products that say Saliva Temu on them. Trust me, dude. We're gonna embrace it with laughter and fun, because I mean, it's the fact that, I mean, they probably thought he was probably being clever or something, but it's hilarious. Honestly, like, really, like, that's all you got? I mean, come on, bro. Come on, Temu version. I mean, our Temu version sounds. Go look at the footage of us playing the songs versus their version. That's all I gotta say, man. Whatever, dude. OG or not.
Yeah. Like, from a fan standpoint, I'd go through and I'd read the comments on these different, rags that put this out there. And of course it's split and it's polarizing. I personally am a fan of polarization. I think the more you polarize, the more unity you have, even though it's split, because no one's ever going to agree on one thing. So you kind of have to, but it creates unity amongst the polarization, if that makes any sense. So if you have, left and right, I'm not talking political, but just left and right of the pie, and left and right are fighting, that's going to bring left and right as one left, as one right together and stronger in order to support their cause, because nobody wants to lose. So I'm a fan of polarization. And what he's done is, you got to be honest. And I'm sure he was honest. So I don't think there was probably like the strategic plan in order to do it. I think that he was just caught in an interview at one time, and the guy asked him, or the girl asked him, and he was just being honest. Again, as a fan, I can, and somebody that's been in similar situations, I can understand the frustration where he's coming to, and the mistakes. We make mistakes that sometime, unfortunately, lay out a path for the rest of our lives. But you judge a man's character by how he handles adversity. And so how you get up, it's that whole Rocky, you get knocked down, it's just, man, it's how you get right back up. And that whole, and that's so true. He's just in this situation where he's like, his identity is Josie Scott of Saliva. You're never bigger than the brand. And it took me a very long time to realize that in my industry. And maybe it's too late and I'll never get another chance. But when you find yourself not bigger than very few people are bigger than the brand. Let's just say that. Very few people are bigger than the brand. That's like the 0.001%. And that's what I think he's figured out or found out. He needs that brand to be Josie Scott, because people are coming to see Saliva. They're not coming to see Josie Scott. You look at big bands that have the lead singer's the guy, and he goes off on his own and he flops, or the guitarist goes off on their own and they flop. Nobody wants to see him because it's about the brand, right? It's about the brand. And you guys
absolutely, man. And unless you're marketed and sold and you put out good records as a solo artist from one of those bands, I mean, you look at Stevie Nicks. I mean, she was able to walk, to do her own records outside of Fleetwood Mac, and great records. Those were fucking amazing songs on her own. And so that's one of those instances where she's still able to go out as Stevie Nicks and fill up fucking arenas. I mean, that's one of those things, but she was also a very, a major force in that band. The sound of her voice, the songwriting, everything about her. I mean, that's just one instance of someone being able to do some shit like that. But unless you're marketed and sold that way, and then you have your own brand, it's your name and it's your legacy, right? It's not just you being a part of a singer in a band that's got a name,
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's one of those things where had he done that for the last 10 years or however long it's been since 13 years, whatever it is, and he had gone out and built a following as with his name as the brand, then we probably wouldn't be having this conversation right now, right, would we? I mean, because it would be a thing like Bret Michaels. Okay, Bret Michaels had his issues with Poison, and I know how much you love Bret.
I do.
I know you love him. I know you love him. So Bret is bigger than Poison. That's one of those things where he does not need to go back out and with Poison. I think it's more of a courtesy or like because he likes the guys. Who knows? But that's another instance though where he went out and he probably didn't automatically jump out there and start doing big ass places. He probably played some clubs and ate some crow and had to earn that shit back, or at least earn it. And then next thing you know, he became a top tier, performer as Bret Michaels, not Poison.
Doing lobbies like at the Hard Rock Hotel for Velvet sessions, And to be honest with you, and I obviously love Poison and I love Bret and I love Pete and those guys, but I actually rather would see Bret and the Bret Michaels band perform versus Poison, just because it's too tight. Security's tight. I mean, it's like so corporate. When they're Poison, it's Bret Michaels band, I give Pete, Evic a call as guitarist. I'm like, hey, Pete, I didn't realize you guys are playing tonight. I'm going to drive up and say hi to you and Bret. He's like, cool, man. Just give me a text when you get here. Poison, it's like, oh, dude, you got to go through this person and then finally get to Jana and then go through this and go through this and go through that. And everybody's separate and everybody's got their own bus and everybody's got their own security. And it's a thing, man. It is a thing. Same with Motley Crue. I mean, Motley Crue, dude, like try to find all those guys together in one room outside of when they perform. Good fucking luck. It is not happening.
Especially before Mick was gone. And, I actually witnessed that. I witnessed that at Bamboozle back in 2010. Fuel was playing with Motley Crue, and my buddy Big Richie, I think I mentioned this to you before, was filling in for security. I think he was doing Tommy. I can't remember. But he told me, he was like, yeah, when we have to do a meet and greet, I have to coordinate with every other guy's basically they had their own security. They had their own.
Mhm.
So, and the three of them didn't want to be in the room with Vince, but they could be in the room together, you know. So they had to figure it out how to get them, corral them to where they wouldn't kill each other, basically, you
Mhm.
know, and make it make sense. I mean, some bands it gets to that point. I mean, it sucks, but I mean, but you know, when I did watch them play back then, you could tell that they weren't like a functioning cohesive unit, like even on stage it just didn't seem like they'd even rehearsed,
Yeah.
honestly. It's very like separated, you know.
I'm sure you too, because you're that guy. You want the best for Josie. You obviously know that he's frustrated, and like I said before, if anyone can understand where he's coming from, it would be you because of what you went through with Shinedown. Uh, you just don't like if you're him. I don't know. You just kind of have to reinvent yourself almost. And then you look at, okay, how old are you right now? And I mean, I think he's what, 53, so not that that's old or ancient or the end of the world, but you're like, did I just waste the last 20 years of not reinventing myself and trying to find a different path? Where you see artists that leave bands, you look at, what was Creed, and Stapp went off to go on his own. Didn't quite work out, even though I got to tell you, his solo stuff is really good.
Mhm.
But Mark and Flip, and then Brian eventually, they go off and get with Miles and do Alter Bridge. Tremonti, one of the most underrated guitarists in the world, does his own thing. And then it's like, fuck it, I'm going to be Frank Sinatra. And then I'm going to do this, so but he, from the very beginning of the end of Creed, made that decision. I mean, I was one of the first people that knew about Alter Bridge. We were actually at a Poison show at the House of Blues. And I hadn't seen Mark in a minute in Orlando. And like we run into each other at the loge area. And he was like, Bucket, dude, I got to tell you something. This is big. And we're coming to you first. I said, what are you talking about? And he goes, I've got a new band. I'm like, is Creed coming back? Because Creed was obviously an Orlando launch band, Tallahassee, but Orlando launch band.
Via Orlando.
Yeah, the Orlando, the Hanson Orlando, Tallahassee college days. And so
Floyd's back in the day.
Right. So I'm like, oh, cool. What's going on? He's like, well, it's me, it's Flip. We're bringing Brian in. And then he says, and the lead singer is amazing. I said, well, who is it? He goes, this guy, Miles Kennedy. I said, well, who's Miles Kennedy? Because have you ever seen the movie Rockstar? I said, yeah. He goes, it's the guy they bring up at the end. I'm like, oh, cool. So I'm thinking it's the guy that's, singing the whole time, when that was actually, I believe, the lead singer of Steelheart that's doing the vocals for everything. Steelheart's awesome, by the way. Shut up.
I'm not saying shit, man. If you say so, bro. Okay.
And so they come in to do their first interview as a band and launch their first single. And I remember it was one of the first times that I was outside of the studio into the conference room, in this big round wood table, ugly table, and the microphones were set up, and VH1 was there with cameras. It was a big thing for, dumb radio guy, but it was, I didn't realize how big of a deal it was, and of course you have to bring up Creed, and those guys were ready. They did not want to trash Scott, but it was very similar of the game that they were playing, same thing with Velvet Revolver. Duff and Slash didn't want to trash Axl. They would always try to steer back to Velvet. But you have to reinvent yourself. You have to just continue. That was my point. You have to reinvent yourself. And the sooner you can do it, the better it is. That was my point.
Yeah. I mean, of course, we're not trying to again, I don't know. So Bobby didn't come on here today. I don't know if it's, of course, he's got a very busy life that he's doing a lot of stuff. But I mean, if he wanted to say something back maliciously to Josie in response to this thing, he would have done it already. That was last week. I mean,
Right.
but I just don't think that it doesn't really, it doesn't solve anything again. And it just goes back to what I was saying. I mean, of course, I mean, we want him to succeed, but the reality is that it's not going to be by using the band name anymore. He forfeited the rights, and the band moved on for the last 12, 13 years after he he left it on his own recognizance. So that's the reality. You know, there's nothing stopping him from writing badass songs either on his own or getting back with Bob Marlette, recording some new stuff and putting it out on his own. Then he gets to keep it all. I mean, for me, that's a better situation. Now you're not splitting shit with anybody, dude. If you can go out there and be your own guy and your own star, like, dude, Bret Michaels, this was, I was in Fuel at the time. This had to have been 15, maybe 14 years ago, right? Fuel plays a show with Bret Michaels at the American Airlines Center in Dallas. And, you know, Vinnie Paul's there. He's hanging out. It was cool. It was a good time. I think Jason was in the band, Todd with me at the time in Fuel. I'd brought him in. But there's a line of 100 people after the show, at least 100 people to meet Bret Michaels, the guy, the one guy. And they're paying, God only knows how much per person. And guess who keeps all that money? So, I mean, for me, it'd be a better idea. Hey, you know what? You may have to play some shows that aren't, you know, you're not going to go back and be hitting the arena immediately, but go back, make some killer songs, put out some music and go out there and do it. And then you own every bit of it, man, you know? So
do you know how much Bret charges for a show for the Bret Michaels band?
God only knows. By now. That was a long time ago, you know, so a couple hundred grand. How much?
It's up there. Yeah. It's you're closing in on, you know, during the Rock of Love era, it was huge. You know,
that's when this was. Then he had his buses wrapped with the whole logo, and he was rolling with
the ripped, and he's all yeah. I
his
look,
lips.
I've known Bret for over a decade now. I grew up as a fan. I'm a mark. There's no doubt about it. But I've got to know him personally. He's all business, but the personal side of him, he's a good dude.
Yes,
he literally just loves performing, and he's brilliant. He knows his audience. He not like the show's the same show every time, but the show's the same show every time. He knows who he's talking to. He knows what his fans want to hear. Now, when you go to Poison, you know, whether they do this on this upcoming anniversary tour or not, you know, CC needs his moment and to do his song, which is actually, his songs are pretty cool. They're kind of punk rocky, but it's just a different vibe. It's a different vibe. And Pete can play CC, you know, his parts, just in my opinion as well. CC plays his parts. So it's it's a thing. Anyway, let's wrap this up, dude. I think you did a very good job of explaining the whole thing. No heat, no foul, you know, pretty cool.
I mean, again, we're not going to put gas on that fire because it's already been settled and sorted the way it's going to be, at least for the next 10 years, unless something happens to Bobby. I mean, I don't know really what else the solution he's looking for other than, I mean, if it's to rally fans against our version and for his version, I don't know if it's kind of like a last ditch thing. I mean, again, we're not trying to create any further division as far as I know. I'm not anyway. I mean, but I'm a very real person and I see things. I see it, you know, it's the way I'm in it. I've been in it for 10 years and I know the guys that have been in it for the whole time. So, you know, I don't know, man. The situation in the story hasn't changed. It is what it is, whether you go on Blabbermouth or not. You know,
from the marketing side of me, dude, I'm just telling you, this is the most people have talked about Saliva in a very long time, including the rag. So that's look. I mean, rappers,
it's all about Temu at this point.
Rappers made a living out of this in the '90s. Is creating a beef with whether it's fabricated or not.
That's true.
But dude, you know. Go into the lab, write a song called "Pick a Side," and just fucking. I mean, like there's good to come out of a beef, right? There's good to come out of it. The fans are going to be polarized one way or the other. You're not going to. It's going to be very difficult to turn somebody and say, "Hey, look, I want you to like both or dislike Josie and just like us." And in his case, the same thing. I want you to dislike Bobby and just like me. You know, if fans are fans, they're going to like the music. It is all about the music. And so, but fans don't realize that. A lot of fans don't realize that. But dude, ride the heat train, man. Ride the heat train.
I mean, we have a tour coming up. This is free press. I mean, at this point, I mean, it's hopefully it's going to help.
Start writing songs called "Pick a Side" or "Great Scott," or I mean, like,
No.
dude,
Line in the sand.
Line in the sand.
And I don't mean cocaine.
We're like Temu me or Temu you or what?
Well, I had a mascot idea. It was Temu Emu.
Temu Emu. Fuck. Dude.
So we have the bird and he's got a Saliva hat on and it's Temu Emu. Instead of Limu Emu from Liberty Mutual, of course. I know you get it. Yeah. But I had an AI version of it and shit. I mean, come on. It's
go with it.
I mean, maybe we'll bring an emu out on the road or something.
Yes, that's the thing. Every show, put somebody in an emu outfit, put them on with Saliva gear. It's the, what you call it, Liberty Bibbity, right?
Right.
That's brilliant. That is.
Maybe we have these we can make these little stuffed animal birds and right or a keychain,
dude,
with the bird on it or a beak.
Yeah. Those things, like, it's fun. If you want to stay away from malicious, stay away from malicious. You didn't start it. Just ride the wave. People love that shit. And dude, you would sell out of your emu idea, right? I mean, that's fucking Temu Emu is hilarious.
Yeah, when I saw it come up on the thread, I was like, man, I gotta do it. It's funny.
Or just drop Easter eggs and put a little emu on your base, or something like that, or get it on one of these vests that you're getting made. Get a big emu on the back and turn around. People will talk about that online as the tour continues. If you do that, like, I love that shit. I would do it. I love Easter eggs. I love the subliminal bash. I love that stuff. I mean, I got a lot of people in my life that are on my life's hit list, and I love to take shots at them because they deserve it. People need to be held accountable. Josie, again, I've got no issue with Josie. I've met him numerous times, interviewed him numerous times. I'm a fan, an absolute 100% fan. I've got no dog in this fight other than doing a show with Brad. But as a dude, you started it, right? So roll with it. You guys roll with it, and all it's going to do is help both of y'all out. That's all it's going to do. I don't think it'll get to the point where you guys are, West Side Story in it and, shanking each other. I think you guys will be okay.
I mean, I don't know. We're playing Oklahoma soon. We'll see what happens.
All right, look, get all the tour dates on the Saliva website, Saliva social media. Of course, again, buy a ticket when they're coming to your town. The tickets are on sale now for all the dates. And if they're not coming to your town, try to get that second leg going by contacting your local radio station and the only way you're going to do that, nobody picks up a phone because nobody's in the studio. So you got to go to their social media and post away. I'm sure Saliva has a fan base that has, certain like army, whatever this and whatever that. And I'm sure it's bigger than the Vinyl Roadies Facebook page, which is actually growing pretty good. But we're talking about the band Saliva here. So guys, come together and build new shows, like create it upon yourself. It is the coolest feeling in the world when you love something so much and you're not getting something at no fault of the band, but you're able to get with other like-minded people. When I say like-minded people, the love of Saliva music, and go, hey, look, I want you guys in our town. Contact the local radio station, contact the local House of Blues, Hard Rock Live, festivals, or whatever it may be. And it's as simple as just going online. I'm not saying you got to run the phones for a weekend. Just go online and make posts, like a lot of posts. You know what I mean? So it's very, very easy. All right. Also, if you don't mind, a little self-promotion myself. I do 3 different shows, 5 days a week. For those that aren't familiar, the Brad Stewart Saliva fans. So I do a show on Mondays, all on this feed, called Honey, I Raised the Kids. It's with my wife about us being empty nesters. A lot of people like it. Then I've got what was once my radio show, The BS, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, with Tuesday and Thursdays being just for subscribers. So if you can spare the cash and you want to subscribe, you can go to jasonbailey.com and get those episodes on a weekly basis, but hundreds of past episodes with a lot of great guests, thousands of hours of content that you'll be able to unlock on Spotify. So that's pretty cool. Also, thank you to our sponsors, especially our title sponsor, Once Upon a Coconut, onceuponacoconut.com. Use the discount code BSPodcast10 at checkout to save some gatuses. And if you are a business that would like to sponsor not only this podcast, but you'll get all of the podcasts, thousands and thousands of ears and eyeballs, then please reach out to me via jasonbailey.com. Follow all of us on social media. All the shows have their own Instagram, and then the BS has Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff. But you can get that on jasonbailey.com. Brad, you got anything before we get out for the show?
Oh man, just that was fun. Just thank you all for listening and for helping us grow our audience and for giving a shit about rock music and rock musicians and being enthusiastic online and for all the support. We're super grateful and come see us. So, we got a lot of dates coming up. I think 33 as of now coming up. Festivals, of course, included in there, but we're going to be all over the map. So. If we're not playing in your town, maybe make a road trip out of it. Maybe you can come. We've had people fly from all over, from Europe to come see the band. So, it's people are definitely, obviously we want to come play your town, and we will sooner than later. But on this tour, it is what it is. And there may be a second leg book. We're still, things are wide open, but God bless and thanks for listening.
I don't want to speak out of turn, but I'm assuming that if you see somebody at any of these Saliva shows for this upcoming tour with Earshot that's wearing a Vinyl Road podcast t-shirt that they can get off of jasonbailey.com, you probably will give them a little wink or a little pick action or a little dap or a little bang bang. You'll give them a little something, right?
Absolutely, man. Hell yeah, I'll sign it for them, whatever.
Yeah.
Want, man. Yeah.
A signed Vinyl Road. You would be, by the way, who's going to be the first to have a Vinyl Road podcast t-shirt signed by Brad Stewart? That would be cool. You'd be the first. Everybody wants to be the first. All right. Look, thanks for the support. Thanks for listening. If you're going to do some drinking, I understand. I get it. But if you've had too much, please don't get behind the wheel of a car. I've lost way too many friends like that. I don't want to see it happen to you because I love you. All right. We'll talk soon. Bye.
I think we should do a podcast about rock and roll. I got some stories.
That's it for this episode. Check out jasonbailey.com for more shows. Until next time.
Bye.
Peace.
3 different shows, 5 days a week, 1 feed, details, and to subscribe, jasonbailey.com.